I worked out a long time ago that the common denominator of most of my clients' issues, almost all of them, are that they don't feel enough. If our greatest fear is being different, and you and I have that fear, what does that make us? You know what it makes us? It makes us the same. Strength is shown in stillness. People come into me almost with a shopping list of problems. I overeat and I'm stressed and I can't sleep and my relationship's falling apart and I keep getting into trouble at work, or other things along the same way. And I don't say, okay, let's treat that one today and that one next week. I look at their list and I always say, you know what, really what's going on here is that you don't feel enough, because I worked out a long time ago that the common denominator of most of my clients' issues, almost all of them, are that they don't feel enough. And we sometimes look at someone like Heath Ledger or Michael Jackson or Philip Seymour Hoffman or Whitney Houston and go, how could somebody with everything die like that? How could Amy Winehouse, who had it all, just get into that self-abuse? But you don't have it all if you don't have a belief that I'm enough. And I love I'm enough because, you know, we're all born believing that we're enough. When I had a little baby, and I'd wheel her along in her pushchair and people would come up and go, oh my God, that baby's so adorable. And they'd tickle her little feet and she'd smile and laugh, and she never went, oh my God, don't look at me. I'm having a really bad headache, I've got triple knees, or I'm covered in milk spots. And she loved attention. And same way when you get a little puppy or a kitten, they'll bound up to you and expect you to love them. So the great thing is we're all born absolutely certain. We know we're enough. That's why babies cry for attention, demand it. They don't go, I'll just lie here and be quiet because I don't want to wake people up. It is the middle of the night after all. They go, no, I need some love. I need someone, so I'm going to wake everybody up. But of course that stops. It tends to stop when people say things like, don't do that, or who do you think you are, and don't ask for that, and you can't have that, and stop drawing attention to yourself. It stops when schools start to compare you to other people, and then we get this sickness, which is I'm not attractive enough, I'm not wealthy enough, I'm not successful enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not interesting enough. And I see multi-millionaires who still say, yeah, but I need more money. I see famous people go, I need more fame. I see people with love who go, no, I need more love. And if you look at somebody like Marilyn Monroe, although she had so much love, because she couldn't let it in, she didn't really have any love. So I call it a sickness. I don't think I'm enough. And it's the underlying cause between so many problems, whether people have a fear of public speaking, or they're pulling out their eyelashes, or they're an alcoholic. In fact, I've never met an alcoholic or a drug user or a bulimic or an anorexic or anyone with any addiction who actually believed they were truly lovable. And all the ones I've met have said, you know, I use the drugs or the drink to hide the pain I'm in, because inside I just don't feel lovable. So I drink for bravado, I eat to get that comfort because I feel so empty. Recently, a girl ran up to me at a talk and said, you know, I went to your last talk and in 10 minutes, you changed my life because you taught I'm enough. And I went home and she had it tattooed on her hand. She said, I love that, because I used to say I'm a goddess, and my mind would go, no, you're not a goddess because you're not a size 8. I used to play that song from Shrek, hey, I'm a rock star. And I would go, you're not a rock star because look how old your car is and you don't even own your own home. But I'm enough. The mind has no objections to I'm enough. You know why? Because it's true. You are enough. You have always been enough. You always will be enough. So stop all that, I'm a rock star, I'm a goddess, my life's perfect, the sun is always shining, because your mind will argue with it. And give your mind something it doesn't argue with and lets in. I am enough. It is the truth about you, about everyone. And here's a wonderful thing. When you know you're enough and say you're enough and let it in, you know what happens? Everybody else around you starts to think you're enough too. I worked with a girl recently in an abusive relationship, and she said it and she wrote it, and she said it entirely changed the relationship. Her boyfriend started to treat her with respect because she had that sense of I'm worth it. So write it on your mirror in lipstick or eyeliner, whether you're a woman or a man. When you're in the shower, say I'm enough, because what else are you going to say in there? Oh, I like this shampoo. or this body wash. Say it, write it, put it on your screensaver, put it on your phone alert, so twice a day it pings with the words, I am enough, and let it in. And when you let it in, I promise you, those 3 words will change your life. I know because I've seen it with clients. I know because write to me and say, oh, I just saw your YouTube on I'm Enough, and it's changed my life. In fact, someone recently said, I watched that, I thought, this is rubbish. I don't agree, but I've written it down to it, and weirdly, even though I don't agree with it, it's working. I'm deliberately trying to stop it, and it's working. It's shut down all the negative voices in my head, and instead I have some positive voices. So I am enough will change your life. Say it, write it, speak it, believe it. Become a living, walking, talking expression of the truth. You are enough. You always have been. You always will be. Say it to yourself. Say it to your children. Say it to other people, because I'm enough will change you, and it will change everyone around you. So make it a habit that's easy and that lasts. I'm always very flattered and indeed excited when people come to me and say, I heard you're the best, or I just wanted to see you. People come to me for everything from fears, phobias, addictions, to wanting to improve their golf game, to wanting to write a book, to speak on stage, to be the best in their chosen career. And I found that one of the things that makes me as a therapist so successful is breaking down what's wrong with my clients. And I found that with all my clients all over the world, rich or poor, young or old, beautiful or ordinary, they all have really only 3 issues. One is I'm just not enough. Because I'm not enough, I need more praise, more love, more things. And when you feel not enough, you'll always need more. But more will never make you feel enough, because it's an emotional feeling you're trying to fix with external stuff. The second thing I found wrong with all my clients was this: I'm different. Because I'm different, I can't connect. And you have to remember, as tribes people, our whole survival was linked to one thing: connecting to the tribe, knowing I'm like them and they're like me, and I'm safely going to make it if I'm lucky. So without that, it's very, very scary. The third one is an interesting one, which is I want something, but it's not available to me. I want to be free of depression, but I've got the depression gene. I want to find love, but my dad never saw me, so I know I'm unlovable. I want to be happy or successful, but I didn't go to university. People like me never make it. And people say, well, how did you know all of this stuff? Well, first of all, it took me many years of working with my clients to identify those 3 things. And secondly, I identify them in myself. Number 2, that was a big thing for me. I was the head teacher, the principal's daughter. I felt like the most hideous freak in the world. I go to school at 11, these 8-year-old kids would go, I hate your dad, and say some swear word, and I couldn't do anything. I was 11 years old, but I felt so different. I always felt different. I thought it was hideous, I thought I was ugly, I thought I was stupid. And I felt so different. It was very hard for me to connect. And I had the label, oh, you're the head teacher's daughter. Everything was expected of me, and I could never meet those expectations. And then one day I realized that I picked up that belief, but I kept it going. It became self-perpetuating. I constantly would say, I'm different. I'm not like these people. And then I woke up to the truth. I saw more and more clients. They all had the same thing. I'm different, and so I'm too tall, I'm too small. I'm the only rich kid in school. I'm the only poor kid. I'm the only kid that developed early. I'm the last kid to develop. I'm different. And I realized the truth. If our greatest fear is being different, and you and I have that fear, what does that make us? You know what it makes us. It makes us the same. If your greatest fear is to be different, and that is everyone's greatest fear, the very fact that you have that fear means you're the same as me, and I'm the same as you. And in that moment, I let that fear go. I erased it, and it changed my life. And now I never feel different. I could go, well, I am, I'm this unusual therapist. I do an unusual therapy. I hypnotize people, but I don't feel different. I feel the same as everyone. I always look for what makes me the same. Even if I'm working with someone who is morbidly obese and they go, look at you, your legs are like twigs, I always go for what makes me the same. And I say, you know, I had an eating disorder for years. I couldn't even keep chocolate in my house. If you look for what makes you the same and not for what makes you different, you'll find you bond. We like people who are like us, and we like people who share our vulnerabilities, never trying to be perfect. That's too different, because those people don't exist. So that was transformational for me. Stop looking for what makes you different, which I always did at my father's school, and look for what makes you the same. And guess what? Whatever you look for, you tend to find. It's an amazing thing. If you look for good people, you find them. If you look for horrible people, find them. Look for aggressive dogs, or dogs that are like pussycats and just want to lie in your lap and be your baby. Because whatever you look for, you find. And of course, the not enough, that was huge for me too. I never felt enough because my father was my principal, and he was paid to look after other kids, but not me. I was the one at home. And so I always felt not enough, not smart enough, not interesting enough, certainly not attractive enough. I thought I had nothing to offer. And I was actually going to be a nanny. I was told I couldn't have children. I thought, well, that'd be great for me. If I can't have children, at least I can look after someone else's. And then I got over believing I'm not enough, decided I was more than enough, and actually I had my own baby. It was so easy. And now I help other people believe they're enough. And finally, the final bit, it's not available to me. Well, I actually had that too. My brother was a smart kid who went to private school. My sister also went to private school. I went to the not private school because I was not the smart one. My sister was beautiful and just engaging and the most gorgeous baby. And my brother was smart. And I was this thing in the middle. And I really believed that what I wanted was not available to me. When I was told I couldn't have a child, I knew in that instance, I heard a voice in my head say, don't let that in. If you let in those words, it becomes unavailable. And I said to the doctor, I can't listen to this. I'm leaving. Luckily I didn't, because I had a perfect baby. I had a horrible illness, and I remember the same thing, and I'm not going to let this in. I'm not going to join this group of people who talk about their illness. And so it was very important for me to decide what is available. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel special. I didn't feel significant. You know what? I can choose now to make that available. And I had to say, I am lovable. I am significant. I do matter. I have got something to offer the world. And when I said it enough, my mind said, you know what? You say this all the time. I guess it must be true. Then it sunk in, and then it stuck. And it changed my life. And now I look back at that girl who was so insecure, who didn't think she was enough, who couldn't connect because she felt so different, and who felt that everything she wanted was not available. I didn't even recognize that person. Of course I know that was me. I remember many, many lonely nights and lonely days and issues, but now I look at my life. I have an amazing husband, a beautiful daughter, a wonderful house in LA, another one in London. I have clients who I love, amazing friends, and I'm not saying that to brag, because when I was a kid, I couldn't even have imagined the life I have now. I remember when I got a 5-year diary one Christmas, and I remember thinking, in 5 years, when I fill this in, I'll be a teacher, and I'll be married and be living in a little house, teaching school. There's nothing wrong with that. My father was a teacher, but the universe had other plans. And when I believed in myself, I discovered I could do anything, write books, work on television, speak on stages, meet millionaires who say, oh, I'm so glad you've come to help me. And I think, well, who am I? But who am I? Because I'm just like you. If you can overcome those 3 blocks, you can overcome anything, because behind every issue, it's always going to be, only going to be one of those 3 things. And you have the power to go, okay, I always felt not enough, but it's not true now. Yeah, being special wasn't available. It is now. I felt different, and I'm choosing now to believe I'm the same. You can choose the words you put into your head, the pictures you put in your head, even what you say to yourself. Make better choices. It will change your life. A lot of people want to know how to have the body language for confidence. And actually in our modern world where we spend all our time on the computer and slump, we've kind of forgotten how to hold ourselves. So I'm going to show you how to have the body language of someone who appears to be incredibly confident. They speak slowly and they don't wave their hands around. I saw myself on television many years ago and I noticed I was doing this throughout the whole interview and I thought, that's not a good look. And I learned when I was on TV to sit on my hands and to speak quite slowly, to look at the camera. And I wasn't confident. People would say, oh my God, you were so confident. And I really wasn't. But I looked at people who were and I thought, oh, they speak slowly. They don't flap around. They may do that or that, but they're very composed. They keep their shoulders up. They keep their stomach in. They don't sit like that. So you can do that. Whenever you're talking to someone, try to keep your chin up. Keep your shoulders down and back. Speak slowly. Don't speak fast and loud. If you've ever seen those movies like mafia movies, you notice the head guy? They almost whisper and everyone has to kind of listen to them. They don't shout. They don't get all excited because powerful people speak slowly. They are very commanding. They command the stage. They have presence. And you can have it too by speaking slowly. Taking on the posture, shoulders up and back, chin just so. Make eye contact. When you speak to people, look at them. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Speak and then listen to other people. Make them feel interesting. Imagine if everyone you met had a little sentence tattooed on their forehead that said, please make me feel important. So when you meet people, it isn't about you saying, yeah, here I am and this is what I do and I'm this and blah, 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 blah. What do? Tell me about you. Act as if you're interested. That's what the royal family do. They smile, they listen, they do it hundreds of times. They're probably not interested in you and the tomatoes you grow, but they make a point of acting like they are. And that's a great gift. And I do book signings. People say, oh my God, you're so nice. You're so available. I make a point of making everyone feel interesting, smiling at everyone, signing their name, saying, who will you tell me? They're buying my book. I owe them that at least. I don't go, oh, another one, scribble, 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 there you are. I engage with people. I make them feel important. I don't ask them to make me feel important. So body language, posture. Don't do all this wringing your hands, fiddling with a little hangnail, playing with your jewelry, fluffing your hair, doing that, because you're saying, I'm nervous. Strength is shown in stillness. The more still you are, the more strong and powerful you appear. Speak slowly. Try to be still in your movements. Try not to wave around and help yourself by believing in yourself. There are so many things you can do that give you the posture of someone who believes in themselves. Walk with confidence. Talk with confidence. Meet people's eye level. People make this classic mistake. Someone says, tell me about you. And they go, well, what I do is, and they try to race through it in case that person is bored. Don't do that. Say, well, what I do is, and the reason I do it, and why I love it so much, and take your time. Don't go into a whole story, but don't rush who you are and what makes your heart sing. If people are bored, you'll find out, and then you can just say, anyway, enough about me, what about you? But don't gabble through it. When you're speaking to someone, you'll know if they're bored because their shoulders will start to turn towards their door, their shoulders, their knees, their hips. And when you're bored, you'll notice that you do that, you really want to do that. If you're speaking to someone who might be going to employ you, no matter how bored you are, keep your shoulders, your knees and your hips face towards them. Keep that towards them, and then it says, I'm interested in you. I find you interesting. If you want to flirt, do the same thing. Keep focused on someone, take some imaginary fluff off their shirt, touch them. And even if it's not a romantic thing, studies shows that waitresses who touch their customers on the arm, or waiters, and go, thank you so much, get bigger tips. There was a test where people had to stop in the street and say to someone, hey, I'm lost, could you tell me where to go? And as the person did, they touched and went, gee, thank you. And then interviewers went up. And then interviewers went up to them. And you know, the ones who got touched remembered everything about the person who touched them. They weren't attracted to them, but the person that touched them on the arm, they could remember what they looked like and what they said. So touch is very important. It's okay to touch someone, not consistently, and obviously respect their boundaries. You touch their shoulder or their arm, and if you think they won't like it, you don't do it. Here's one final thing. When we're nervous, our mouth gets dry. We've all seen people licking their lips because they are nervous. You may notice that court lawyers drink water all the time. People giving evidence drink water. When you are nervous, your mouth gets dry and you lick your lips. When you're nervous, you tend to have your shoulders up around your ears. If you're nervous, push your shoulders down, all the way down, and then fill up your mouth with saliva. Pump it round your mouth. I know it sounds disgusting, but who knows you're doing it? You didn't know I just did that. If you can make your mouth wet, you send a message to your mind that says, I'm really relaxed. Guess what? You do that every time you kiss. When you kiss, your mouth gets wet and your brain goes, wet mouth equals being relaxed. Doesn't matter which way it comes. So fill up your mouth with saliva, swirl it around, and your brain will think, wet mouth means you're relaxed. If you're nervous, do that. Drink water, swirl it around. I promise you, it sends a message to your mind that says you are relaxed. Keep your shoulders down, it says you are relaxed. Keep your chin up, shoulders back, posture good, and it says you are confident. So you can trick your mind into believing you're confident and you're relaxed by the way you hold yourself, by the way you walk, by the way you talk, by the volume of your voice, by the speed of your voice, by your hand movements, by eye contact. And people who are successful do this naturally, and you may have to do it unnaturally. Who cares? If you do it, you know what happens? It starts being who you are and what you do. And then it is who you are. So it starts by being what you do, and then it becomes who you are. You'll find that if you keep pushing your shoulders down, filling up your mouth with saliva, holding yourself straight, making eye contact, that eventually you do it on autopilot. That's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing. If you enjoyed that video, check out the next one right here. You can also click the link below right here for your free gift. We've kind of forgotten how to hold ourselves. So I'm going to show you how to have the body language of someone who appears to be incredibly confident.